Om Akhandamandalakaram Vyaptam Yena Characharam Tatpadam Darsidam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Ajnanatimirandasya Jnananjanam Shalakaya Chakshurmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Gurur Brahma, Gurur Vishnu, Gurur Devo Maheshwara Gurur Sakshat Parabrahma Tasmai Shri. So this is going to be a 2.5 days, very short satsang. Today I'm just starting off. It's like a orientation in a way. आज हम orientation करेंगे and then we will proceed. Please don't be frightened of me or in awe of me, because I know many of you have read the autobiography. You might think if I ask something inconvenient, this hand will stretch there and slap. Not. ऐसा कुछ नहीं होने वाला. So just relax and let's have a satsanga. So let me start with it. These young people, they're all sitting here. And when I see young people, I'm very happy because there is some hope. Oh no, there are young people with grey hair also, like me. But, like me, I said. So, I'm not talking about the art of dying. So, what is a satsang? Let's start with that. This is an orientation. Satsanga, sangha, means, you know what is sat? Do you? At least one has an idea what it is. No? Okay. He said no. So, because they're older, don't think they know, okay? So, sat means the reality. Sat, the truth, the actual. Opposite of asat, not truth, not reality. Very often we look at asat and think that it is sat. That is our problem. Problem is very simple. What we think is real may not be real, may not. Open to discussion, may not be. And what we think is not real, because we cannot see it tangibly, may be real, maybe. So, Sat means the truth without frills and the reality which is the opposite of that which is not real. The ancient Vedic prayer, not even a prayer, it's a statement, it's an assertion. Asato ma sadgamaya, take me from the unreal to the real. So that real, that sat, is the meaning of the first syllable. Sangha. Sangha means a group of people coming together. I wouldn't even say sitting together, maybe standing together. A group of people coming together who have this thirst to find out the truth. The group is Sangha. And for that, while the teachings and the lessons and the satsangs could be good if they were individual, but it is not possible to do so. Just imagine every day I call one person and have a satsanga. By the time I finish with all of you, I'll be dead. So that doesn't work. So we have to have a sangha together to make you understand what we are looking for, why we are looking for, and if you are, how to look for it. This is a satsanga. So since you are all together, the movement towards the truth now must be together as a sangha. The Rigveda, as early as 2000 years, says, Sangachatvam, let us move together. Samvedatvam, let us study together. Samvomanam si janatam, with our minds put together, may we understand. Now this is what we are going to do. That's why I quoted this. That we are going to walk together, learn together, and find out together, with our minds put together. So, therefore, before every satsanga, something is chanted, which you all know, but you probably haven't thought of the meaning. And even if you have thought of the meaning, we are living in a world where Samskrita is at a premium, so you may not even know. But the priest chants it daily in the temple without knowing what he is chanting. So, and this prayer is not a prayer, it's a shloka from the ancient texts. You might have heard it many times. Usually chanted in a satsang, or when something is being learnt, and the teacher and those who are learning are sitting together. And this is, anybody? One guess? No? Om Sahana Vavathu, Sahanau Bhunakthu, Saha Veeryam Karavavahai, Tejasvi tamasthu vidvishaavahai. This is chanted. What does it mean? Which means give equal rights to you and me. Sahana Vavathu, may both of us be protected. You see the word Saha? It appears 3 times. Sahanau Bhunakthu, Saha Veeryam Karavavahai. Not in my part of the country, they say Saha. This is not that. Comrade. Saha. Sahana Vavathu means may you and I am deliberately using the you first. May you and I be protected. And the question is, protected from what? Protected from distraction. Protected from the furies of nature. Suddenly, if we were in an open place and the rain, there is a cloud burst, you can't study. So, may I be protected from the vagaries of nature. May I be also protected from conflicting thoughts that stop me from understanding something which I am looking into. May I be protected from distracting thoughts that come from all sides. May I be protected from superstition. So when all this is done and I am protected, then I am moving forward properly in the right direction. Not me, you and I. Sahana Vavathu. Now, Sahanau Bhunakthu. May you and I be nourished. Now, nourishment is physical, nourishment is mental, and nourishment is spiritual. All 3 nourishments. Physical nourishment, I don't have to tell you, you know that. Means eat 10 puris a day. Not that. But means eat proper food, proper quantities of food at the right time, so your body is healthy and protected. Mind, how do I nourish my mind? By thinking good thoughts, by doing scriptural and studies, by refusing to think badly of anybody, by saying that even if that person is a monster, I will not think of him as a monster, but as a God in disguise. All this is nourishment. That nourishes the mind. So, when you have a body properly nourished, properly fed, properly done, then the mind, it contributes also to the mind's health. And when the mind is free of all these distractions, hatred, too much attachment, both are They're two sides of the same coin. Very often too much attachment after a while leads to too much rejection. Right? Familiarity breeds contempt. You have heard it many times. Especially married people have to think about this very carefully. Don't let that happen. So this is nourishment. And then spiritual nourishment, listening to have satsangas. Why? Because according to the Bhagavad, human beings, not according to the Bhagavad, Bhagavad also says, but it is true. Human beings are society animals. We live in societies, we live in groups, we cannot live alone. It's impossible to live. You can try. Rare people may live alone for long periods. I think they are a little bit cracked like me. But generally, it's very difficult to live alone. I'm not talking about physically living alone. I'm talking about living in a society where you have to interact with people, whether you like it or not. You say, I don't want to see anybody talk to you. You have to talk to the milkman. You have to talk to somebody else, to the gardener. So, human beings are made in such a way that they're society animals. They have to live with interactions. They cannot live isolated. If you start trying to live isolated, you'll go crazy in no time. So, this communication and interaction with human beings, between human beings, is natural. There's nothing funny about it, it's natural. Now what happens? Now coming together and living in a group, what is another word for that? Sangha. Right? So now, if I live in a group, or if I talk, or if I have a dialogue, or if I interact with one group, because I need the group, I can't live alone, which is thinking only about material things, which is only thinking about causing injury to others, which is only thinking of hatred. There are some people who cannot go to sleep without hating at least one person. I hope there is nobody like that, I'm just saying. So, if one lives in that kind of group, what will happen? I will also become like that, because we share, the mind shares the features. One another, we share with each other. So, such a Sangha is also a Sangha. It's called a Dursangha. The Bhagavad says, therefore, cultivate Satsanga to keep Dursangha away. And what is Satsanga? The most important thing, if somebody desires spiritual development, is Sadhu Satsanga. I have a satsang with sadhus. When I say sadhu, it means people who are simple, who are good, who don't want to hurt others, who don't want to create problems, who are either reached a spiritual level or trying to reach a spiritual level. When such people come together, then it becomes a satsanga. If you don't have a satsanga, there is always a danger of dursanga, because we cannot live alone without communication, without meeting others, because we are society. This is the importance of satsanga. So therefore, when they say proper nourishment, Sahanau Bhunakthu, it also means proper satsanga. Then, Saha Veeryam Karavavahai, let our virility, virya, grow. You and me. Don't think that to be spiritual is to be meek and you have to be robust before you can walk on this path. The ancient Upanishads declare, Amritasya putraha, sons of immortality. I will add daughters of immortality also. Times have changed. So, think not to be meek, that's not to be a good person. Virya means energy, health, vitality. to say that I will not stop till I reach the goal. Swami Vivekananda's favorite quote. What is that? Sanskrit. Yeah? Prapyavarani bhodat. Until I reach that place, I will stand up and work. Unless and until such a statement becomes part of our being and it gathers energy, we cannot move forward. This truth is not meant for the weak. So it's a message of strength. Now when you say strength, it doesn't mean you should take a stick and beat people. That's strength, inner strength, quiet strength. This is what I mean. Not to be discouraged, to say that whatever discouragement comes on the way, I'm going to handle this and move forward. This is to be vital, vitality. Saha Veeryam Karavavahai. Let your Veeryam and my Veeryam grow. Tejasvi vadhi tamasthu. May the spiritual joy, the spiritual illumination, the Tejas grow in you and in me. And the last, vidvishaavahai. Let's not fight with each other. Let's not quarrel with each other. This doesn't prevent one from having a dialogue. Dialogue is not fighting. Dialogue is now argument. Argument is a fight. Why? Because I have already decided that I am saying the right thing. You have also decided that you are saying the right thing. So how can we meet? There is a clash. What is a dialogue on the other hand? Samvaad. Samvaad is you and I are looking at a problem together and trying to solve it. Saha. Not jumping on somebody, you jumping on me and I'm jumping. This is quarrel. Vidvisha. Vidvishaavahai. Let's not get into that. Let's have a dialogue. Let's discuss. Because a dialogue in the true ancient times, now also, in ancient times, the student went to the forest. Why did he go to the forest? Because if you sit in the city, you get only those impressions. You need a cool, quiet, nice place to discuss, to learn. You need a lot of oxygen. Trees are so important. So, they used to go to this wonderful place. And why did they go? To understand, to learn the truth. And they met the Rishi, the teacher. And the teacher, if you have to learn from the teacher, you cannot go to the teacher and say, hey, I am right, what do you think? It doesn't work. So you have to go with an open mind, saying, let me understand, please can you make me understand? I want to learn. Look at all the Upanishads and see how beautifully, and the teacher doesn't say, hey, I'm not going to teach you, get lost. No. Both sit together. This is called a dialogue. And both sit together. Samvaad. The Bhagavad Gita, all the 18 chapters are supposed to be a samvaad. Although Krishna ends up talking more and Arjuna generally listening, in between he butts in, but Krishna says, hey, you don't know. So now you see this is Satsanga, so most of the talking I will be doing, I think. But then you can butt in. So why did I say that? Samvada. So that means in Samvada, you and I are equal. I may know something more than you, may. But if I have to present it to you, I have to feel that I'm like you. I'm here. Otherwise we can't meet and proceed. I'm sitting up there and you're sitting. No. So this is called a samvad. So, ma vidvisha. So let us have a samvaad, but let us not fight with each other. Now I told you that the student goes to the rishi. Rishi says, okay, give you a few examples. How the search for the sat, which is the meaning of a satsang, develops. How does it develop? One of the sons, the son of a great rishi, Udalaka Aruni, is sent by his father to learn the truth somewhere else. This is interesting, because if you sit with the father, he'll say, look, son, it's like this. He'll say, oh, papa, keep quiet. So he sent him somewhere. So the guy went, he learned, and he came back. So the great Udalaka Upanishad, the great rishi asks him, well, son, have you found the truth? And the son says, I think I have. The rishi says, if you think you have, no. Whether you know the truth or you don't know the truth. Okay. He shows him there's a banyan tree there, far away. He said, go to that banyan tree. Do you see some seeds on the ground? I'm giving you an example how the Upanishadic dialogue proceeds. Right? It's not like you ask me, sir, how to move forward, and I say, shut up, you don't. Is that a dialogue? No. So, he says, okay, what do you see? Do you the seeds down? Yes, I see the seed. Pick it up. He picks up the seed and brings it to him. Then the father says to the son, peel the rind. So he peels the rind. And then he asks, what do you see? He says, I see the kernel. You know what is the kernel? Inside, white colored thing. I see the Kernel, not kernel. I see the kernel inside. Okay? Now, he said, peel it. Remove it. Unraveling the truth layer by layer. Remove it. Yes, I have removed it. What do you see? I see little black seeds inside. Take one of those seeds. Break it open. What do you see? I see nothing. Then the father says to the son, it is from this nothing that this whole banyan tree has come. See how this is a dialogue. Right? One example. There is an Upanishad called Prashnopanishad. This is Chandogya. It's an Upanishad called the Prashnopanishad. 3 young people. Now in ancient times, they say, when you go to a teacher, you go samvit pani, which means you go with a lighted fuel in your hand. What does it mean? Does it mean that today you are coming here, you'll all light one stick and come here? No. It means you need enough fuel to understand this. When all the fuel is gone and we are about to die, then you cannot learn. You need all the energy required in us because you're looking at something extraordinary. Therefore, you need full energy potential to understand it. So this is the meaning of saying going with fuel in hand. There is still enough fuel. I'm not exhausted. I'm not come and I'm retired. Anyway, so the 3, they are also sons of rishis. They go to this great rishi and say to him, we are sons of so-and-so, Gautama and so on. We have come here to learn the truth from you. Please accept us as your disciples and teach us the truth. The rishi says, live with me for some time. Actually, in the Upanishad, it's 3 months. It says, live with me. Now, please don't say we'll all come and live in Madanapalli for 3 months. Talking about those days. Okay. Because many people have that complaint. You lived with your teacher We are not even allowed to see you, what is this and so on. What to do? Anyway, so just live with me for some time, for 3 months. Now look at this, what the Rishi is replying. At the end of 3 months, if I know, I will teach you. What do you think? Did he say the truth is here in my hands, I will put it into your mouth? No. Live with me for 3 months. At the end of it, I will teach you if I know. This is a satsang. This is how the ancient teaching went on. They started with asking questions and then looking for answers with a person who apparently has the answer, because otherwise he cannot guide, but directing others how to move on this path so that one can understand. What we need is a clear mind. The truth, the ancient truth, was called Shruti. Why was it called Shruti? This is Shrotra. That which is heard is Shruti. Not that which is written and read afterwards, or written and read when you are about to sleep, or because you cannot sleep, and then find your own theories about it tomorrow and come. Shruti is when the person is prepared properly and is ready for it, which may take time. Some people it may happen in 2 days, 1 day. Some people may take ages to get to that stage where as soon as the seed drops, it sprouts. Soil is to be prepared. So, Shruti is that which when heard immediately gives you the truth. It cannot be later on taken and discussed and theorized and all that. When one is ready, you hear and you got it. This is called Shruti. As opposed to Smruti, which is memorized, remembered, and then thought about, and then understood. When the mind is prepared, so all the preparation to make the mind fertile enough so that when the seed is dropped, it sprouts, is called sadhana. So, therefore, in every teaching course, a sadhana is also included. It need not necessarily be kriya. Kriya is not the only sadhana on earth. There are many other sadhanas also. So, what I am trying to say is, sadhana is done not to reach the supreme. Yes, in a way, but it is done to prepare the mind to make it sensitive, fertile, so that when the Shruti is heard, it immediately clicks and it sprouts. Not only sprouts, immediately the flowers also come out. The lotus, which is like this, straightens up and blossoms. This is Shruti. Now for that, you need to know the art of listening. You can hear but cannot listen sometimes. Many times we can hear, but we are not listening. Why? Because the mind is not here, it's somewhere else. So that is another discipline that we need to develop, how to listen. Which if you don't know how to listen, you can say the Shruti, utter the Shruti 100 times, but it will not register. So this preparation is very simple. When you sit down and when you hear a satsanga, or when you take part in a satsanga, let's put it that way. Keep your mind clear and open to listen. Don't compare. There's nothing wrong, but the moment you compare, half your energy is gone in the comparison. Only half the mind is listening. It may be right, the comparison may be perfectly all right. But what is happening to the mind, half of the energy is engaged in comparison, only half the mind is listening. If that kind of thing happened, the Shruti certainly cannot have an effect. Okay, I'm saying something, you say, okay, this is correct, he's saying proper. But then before that somebody said something else. And before that the other guy said something else. Then this guy, then what happens? I'm not saying you shouldn't think of all that, you should think it later. But when you sit and listen to a satsanga, if you listen with an open mind saying, I'm hearing this for the first time, then it's the shruti registers. Also, when you listen to somebody, don't get caught up by how the person looks, what he's dressed in, what is his hairstyle. Listen purely, as if the words are coming even from a puppet, from a doll. It doesn't matter. You know, people who get very impressed because they see somebody looking nice. Not me. Today, a very senior government official asked me, is becoming good-looking part of Kriya? I said, no. Oh, okay. But I didn't want to tell her that, yeah, if you practice Kriya, your mind is young, so your body looks young. But then she'll say, I will practice that for that, instead of going to the beauty parlor or whatever people do. You know? So, this is a satsanga. So I am hoping that in this 2.5 days, we are actually going to meet. With our minds put together, we are going to understand. Please, I will sometimes pretend as if I don't know a thing. Because then only I can sit with you and share where we are moving. Right? Because I have to come to you, wherever you are, and then together we have to go up. Then you will appreciate what's happening. Now, there are some preconditions which we discussed before, and that was proper food, proper exercise, cleanliness. These are all required. And the best principle of cleanliness is not to dirty your mind with bad thoughts about others. Actually, let me put it this way. If you accept, you need not, if you accept that in every human being's heart, please, when I say heart, I'm not talking about the organ that is pumping blood. I'm talking about heart in a very metaphorical manner, like you say, the heart of a thing. Or heart of hearts, I think so. Not to do with the organ that pumps blood. Or I say the heart of the matter. That way. The core, if I accept the fact, from my own experience, let's say, in that heart of the matter, that in every human, living beings also, but human beings have this extraordinary capacity, which animals do not have, to recognize it. Animals are very intelligent. It's not that they're not intelligent. Sometimes I look at my dog and wonder if he's more intelligent than me and more thankful than me. But it's not that. They can't they can't feel themselves and say, I'm conscious. That is it. This they cannot do. We have that unique qualification, attribute, quality. So, if I recognize that divine spark in myself, let's say, now it cannot be that I am exclusively the holder of that divine spark. Every one of you, everybody must be having this divine spark. It can't be that I'm some kind of a special production. All of you have this spark, whether you know it or not. And if I know it, I see it there in others, whether they see it or not. Therefore, we're all equal in that way. Therefore, we are all walking, talking, speaking, thinking temples of God. Because that God is Antaryami, the spark of the divine absolute being who exists in our hearts. So, whether the other person realizes it or not, if I see it, I should respect it. And then, when I realize that I feel I am on an equal footing, one day you will feel that you are also there. If you still don't know, I don't know. Maybe among these there are many people who have found it, who knows? But if you find, then you realize that this divinity exists in every human being. There's nowhere it does not. Of course, on the ultimate side it is Isha Vashyamidam Sarvam, it pervades everything here, but consciously pervading, where we can be conscious of it in our hearts. I also want you to learn and to ponder upon the different states of existence and different states of being through which we all go through in this life. It's important to know that, because then you know what is the essence of it. So we are not seeking the external, we are seeking the essence of our being. And the essence of our being is a spark of the divine. So there is nobody low, nobody is low. Once you discover it, you realize that I was in a kind of a dream and now I have woken up. Have you seen this extraordinary thing? That when we dream, we don't know that we are dreaming. Do we know? And in rare instances, sometimes we feel, but generally, do you know that when you're dreaming, that you're dreaming? If somebody tells you you're dreaming, you shut up. Because it's so real. In the dream, if a tiger is chasing you, is that a dream or am I actually running from the tiger? I was about to say another word which is, no, I was dead scared. And I'm running because the leopard is behind me in the dream. And then I wake up. And it is so real. Turn and look, where the leopard is not there now. But it was here till now. And the physical symptoms of seeing a leopard are still there, they are not gone. I'm still breathing hard. My heart is thumping. I'm sweating. It was so real at that point. When I wake up, no. So sometimes one should think, now we think we are real, no? This is not a dream, right? In the dream also you thought the same thing. I mean, this is simple. Maybe at some point you will wake up, stretch your hands and say, oh my God, that was a long dream. And now you won't believe. No. That turning point is the beginning of understanding oneself. Now, if it is a pleasant dream, one would like to hold on to it. If it was unpleasant, you will sigh with relief. That was it. Unfortunately for us, most of our life is not so pleasant. It is pleasant, but also peppered with unpleasantness. I would put it this way. Unpleasant, but peppered with some pleasantness here and there. Right? And because when that happiness happens, we are so fond of it that we ignore everything else and hold on to it. The very fact that when a rare happy moment comes to us, we treasure it so much, we don't want to let it go, means there's already the conflict has started in the mind. It's escaping and I'm holding it back. I marry a beautiful wife. I'm very thrilled and happy till I find that she is looking through the neighbor's window. Not my biography, I'm just saying. Happiness is like that. You think, it have got it, then you wonder, is it going to somebody else? It's gone. So when you see this, then you begin to wonder, is there something which cannot be changed, which cannot be turned, which is not a dream, which is real? Is there something which I need not worry about it going away from me? Something which is in essence my own essence, which is always with me though I don't see it. When I found that, then I am supremely happy. Then I am free, because I am no more dependent on something else. I am totally self-reliant. I know that the spark of the divine is in my heart. I know that my Atma is a spark of the Paramatma. Then one says, oh, this man or this lady is free. Then there is freedom from what? Freedom from tension, freedom from contradictions, freedom from opposing views, freedom from distractions. There is nothing to distract. Your mind by itself, clean as a mirror, reflects the divine. This is the essence of sadhana. We do it through kriya. You may do it through japa. You may do it through bhakti. You may do it through karma yoga. You may do it through jnana. Modus operandi is different. How you do is different. But the goal is there.
Go within. So when we say within, what are we supposed to imagine or realize? So I'm not able to ask the question, but
I understand. Go within means, first of all, to understand the fact that your interaction with the outside world is only through your mind, right? How do you interact with the outside world? Only through your mind. Therefore, traditionally, in the Vedantic language, it's called Nivritti Marga, which is opposite of Pravritti Marga. Which means, generally, it's our tendency to look outside for everything. With the center here, I look outside for good food, I'm not saying whether it's right or wrong, I'm just saying how it works. I look outside for all enjoyment, I look outside for satisfaction, also when something happens which gives me unhappiness outside, I run from it. Now here when you say look inside, it means to turn the mind and go deep within. You may have an image, you may not have an image, it doesn't matter. It's not necessary that you should have an image. For some people, the mind cannot be concentrated on something without a nama and a rupa. So they need something. There are others who can just go into a feeling of quietness. So when you say go within, it doesn't mean go within and look. It simply means go within, which means for some time, stop all external movements and retire into yourself. That's what it means. You see, it's very interesting. Suppose what you are searching for, which may be the truth, may be the ultimate truth also. Okay, now if it is where you are sitting, and I don't have it, and I am sitting here, then I have to move towards you, right, to find it in a linear way. What if what I am seeking is here, there and everywhere? What will I do? Nothing. So going within means when I understand this fact, and I say the best thing is no movement anywhere. All movement has ceased. Everything is settled down. That is the truth. If the truth, theoretically, let's say, is here, there, everywhere, I cannot reach for it, right? I don't have to, because if it is here, it is here. So what do? Stop all reaching. It's a mind state, not a physical state. having found that what I am seeking is inside me, I say, why am I running outside? Let me quieten down. Perhaps when the mind is extremely quiet, I will understand this. That is the meaning of saying going within. Sometimes it helps to have a sound or an image, all this. Because the mind is an entity which cannot stay blank. It likes to be engaged somewhere. So if you don't engage in the outside world, it won't stay blank, it will try to invent more things outside. So instead of that, if you engage it in something internal. Now, if you don't want an image, and if you don't want a sound, if you don't want a thought, one best thing is give attention to the breath. Then what happens? The mind is not blank. Mind refuses to stay blank. It's like vacuum. Nature abhors a vacuum. You try to make a vacuum, air rushes in. In the same way, the mind. So instead, if you need to calm it down, first thing you need to do is to turn it into some engagement which is internal, not external. And the breath is the best. Turn the mind to the breath, which means what? When you breathe normally, we are not aware of our breath. It's going on. Become aware of your breath. This is also part of Kriya, I'm just telling you. Be aware of the breath. So your mind is engaged in something internal, not external. Gradually that will also disappear and it will settle down. Yes, boss.
Sir, why? Good evening, sir. I am Sham. Why Mahishasura Mardini? Mahishasura, a demon's name given to a Devi.
Because it is the Devi is not called Mahishasura. The Devi is called Mahishasura Mardini, which means the Devi is the one who destroys Mahishasura. Therefore she is called Mahishasura Mardini. She has other names also. In this concept, you know what is a Mahishi? What is a Mahisha? Mahishi is a buffalo. So the demon is supposed to have come in this story as a buffalo. So she kills not the buffalo, but the demon in the form of a buffalo. So she is called Mahishasura. Mardini means one who kills.
Okay.
Thank you.
Right. So I wanted to understand if ambition and materialism, if that truly comes in the way of seeking this truth. And like with our generation, we have this constant fight. Like, if you understand what I'm saying, yeah? So where do you draw the line? Or
There is nothing that is purely materialism, and there is nothing that is purely spiritual. We are somewhere in between. Look, we have a physical body.
so it's a good place to be in, somewhere in
Of
between.
course, of course. You are in between anyway, you can't help it. So you have to start only from there. You see, you have a body, the body has its needs, and depending on the civilization and you live, the needs are different. So you will have to cater for that. You can't say, I want, okay. But while doing that, remember that this is not a permanent affair, there is something more perhaps. That's what the scriptures say, that's what the great yogis have said. Like the Upanishad Rishiti Sushrama Purvesham, this is what the ancients have said, that there might be something which is more permanent than this body which I am trying to look after in this. But meanwhile I have to continue to look after it, because if I don't look after it, it will deteriorate. If it deteriorates, how will I do my sadhana? What will I do? So while you look, somebody asked the Buddha once told a gathering that the body is like an open sore. But he used to be very clean. He used to clean himself, he used to have, and wash his clothes, wear it clean, brush his teeth, have a bath. So they asked him, if it's an open sore, why are you looking after it so much? He said open sores disappear only if you look after them properly. Otherwise they become festering cancerous wounds. You know what I'm trying to say? So, while you have to look after it to keep it in shape, physically and mentally, you should have this understanding that one day this is going to go. So let me also keep my eye on something which won't go. That's the starting point. You have to start there. So, there's nothing you need to have. Yes, you need to have good clothes. You can't, if you're a lawyer, you cannot walk into the courtroom with a cowpin, can you? You have to wear a black coat. So, you can't go, it's not a good idea to go into an ashram where people are meditating with a black coat. The other way around. They'll think you have come to take away their ashram. So, you have to, these are practical things one needs to work on. I think now it's 5:30. Today's Satsanga is over. Today is just a warming up. I hope you are warmed up. And then from tomorrow we'll take seriously. Not that you shouldn't take seriously what we discussed today, to just a starting point. I just wanted to be familiar with you. I just wanted to see if you're there to have a satsanga, or you're there to shoot me down or whatever. So, no, you won't, of course. She's shaking her head. So, thank you very much. Hari Om Tat Sat. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.